Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for tuning in to our, dining descriptions with Katie.
I will not apologize this time.
Katie works triple, quadruple shifts in the health industry, so Katie doesn't have time to eat. So we are making allowances for her, because otherwise we'd just ban people or kick them right off for eating on screen. But Katie's special, so
I appreciate it.
no problem. Glad to see you're doing better than last week.
So much better.
Awesome.
We are no longer needing Dayquil on the regular in order to function.
When you have a straw in your Dayquil bottle, you know.
Exactly. It's one of the curly straws, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us, everybody, here tonight for part 2 of 3 of Vaesen, Jera. And we will get right into it here momentarily. But, of course, this is not ASMR. This is not a mukbang, so I can't do it alone. I need awesome people on whose coattails I can ride to victory. And I have once more with me here tonight fantastic group of people who just happen to all be from the same spot in this little community of ours. And we'll hear more about that in a moment. But let us meet these people first before we do anything else, because they are the lifeblood of the show. And we will begin with Stephanie, who has been here before and will maybe be here again at some point if I don't kill her character.
Yeah, hopefully.
How you doing, Stephanie?
Doing good, thanks. I'm Stephanie. I'm been playing Vendela, the occultist, tonight, and yeah, there's a bunch of stuff coming up, but I can save that for the end of the show. But yeah, you can find me at sbrownwrites on Twitter or under the handle Lavenza, both lurking in the Guild Superior and the Live from the Apocalypse channels. So we're gonna see how this goes tonight.
People are all like, I don't know how this is gonna go. What's gonna happen? It's gonna be horrible. It's Vaesen. It's gonna be nice. We're gonna, it's a little pastoral game. We're gonna go out into the field and bring a little picnic basket with us, and
having fun in the countryside.
Absolutely.
Could go wrong.
It's a pastoral game. It's like,
as long as you're not a priest, it's fine.
Oh yeah, the priests, we burn.
I think there's only one priest.
I think there's only one priest so far. More may be revealed as we go along. But speaking of priests, let us meet our Father Victor here, JD, who's in a bit of a tight spot, but we'll talk about that momentarily. How you doing, JD?
I was better before we started threatening priests, but that's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm JD. I'm a regular cast member on Live from the Apocalypse, and I am playing Father Victor, who is probably not having a good time, but it's fine. So, I'm sticking with that.
Who knows? Maybe they just, took him out for crumpets.
That's true. Maybe I'm having a picnic.
You never know. Maybe you are the picnic.
That too.
You never know how these things will turn out. People who've played with me before will tell you never know how things are going to turn out. It usually goes weird at some point. Speaking of... there's no good transition there. Speaking of Will, I'd like to introduce here Will with the shortened facial hair today, looking very very young and dashing. How you doing, Will?
Thank you so much. I have I'm 16 again. I've traveled back in time to play this game. I'm feeling great. My back doesn't hurt anymore. Feel good just generally. And I am normally over at Live from the Apocalypse. I'm one of the organizers and the storytellers over there. And if you don't know what Live from the Apocalypse is, we're a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that makes actual play content in the forms of streams and podcasts and other things like that to raise money for nonprofits and aid organizations and other good causes. We're currently raising money for the First Nations Development Institute, and we do a lot of stuff over there. So if you want to check it out, livefromtheapocalypse.com, Live from the Apocalypse on most social media, except for Live from the APOC on Twitter because of character limits, and that's fun. And I'm playing Rudolph Kirk, the hunter, with a mysterious past that may or may not have something to do with priests. Remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen. Well, I'm sure he's no choir boy, so. And now the transition I was going to use earlier, speaking of weird.
That's not
I'm
very
like-
nice.
I'm going to use that transition, and then I looked down in my list and I saw Will was next, and I'm like, oh, I can't use that transition. Will I say it? For
And I'm
KT?
not weird, so
It's
whatever.
okay.
But KT on her other hand with her mukbang there. Hey, KT, how you doing?
Very weird. I'm doing great. So much better than I was doing last
That's
week. I'm
awesome.
so happy to be here and fully mentally present this time. Yep. So I'm KT. I will be playing Britta, the servant, tonight. And she really only has one question for these Pinkerton brothers, and it is, did they buy tickets to the gun show? The kitten also will probably make a showing, and I'm very excited for that. And you can find me lurking over in the Live from the Apocalypse Discord and the handle Catix. I did confirm that. And then also on Twitter as Pager2266. And that is me, I think.
Mostly also the very, very beautiful character art that we have tonight for our players here was done by Katie. Beautiful, beautiful work that we are very happy to have. So thank you very much. Very talented. I'll take back what I said earlier. Instead of saying weird, I'll say the very talented Katie.
I mean, I'll take weird too. That's fine.
I mean, I'm always saying that. I'm like, if I'm not weird, then I don't want to know about it. Like,
Exactly.
weird's the way to go. If you're going to get through this life that we have going on, you have to do the weird. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. I had a great time last week. Looking forward to getting back into it tonight. We will do that here very swiftly. I, of course, am Bleakseason. You can find me at the Bleakseason on Twitter. Check out my website, bleakseason.com, where I keep musings about all the different games that I run here and on my own channel. Here, there, everywhere. A couple shout outs to, yes, Kay. Yes, Vandella. And we had a discussion about Marguerite the other day. So, you know, Marguerite is in our hearts, even while she is not present here. Music tonight, as with every other night, is by tabletopaudio.com. Tabletop Audio's got all the music you could ever want for your streams, for your games, so on and so forth. Free stuff by the bucket load on their website. And if you want even more stuff, a couple of bucks will get you into their Patreon, where they have tons of variations on the music they have. So that's what we'll be hearing tonight. We do have also tonight, we are playing Vaesen, which is by Free League Publishing. People who know me know I like my Free League. Check out their work if you're getting tired of the Dragon game and you want something else that's system light, all about character and atmosphere. And just really easy to get into, and great fun, and a great variety of games also. Check out the Free League. We are, of course, Guild Superior. If you have any interest at all in what we're doing here, if you like what we're doing in, you want to learn more, please check us out on our various socials, on Twitter, everywhere else. We have an active Discord also. We're always looking for new people to come in and play with us. So please feel free to come and see us. And if you enjoy what you are seeing and hearing tonight, please consider supporting us. Just a follow helps a whole lot, and we appreciate each and every little bit of it. We do have tonight, thanks to Free League, a giveaway, and we will be giving that away at, I'm going to try to spell this. I don't have a streaming deck. So a lot of time I have to type out a lot of the annoying stuff like this that I want to try. I have to get a streaming deck, but yeah, gotta walk before you can run. But we do have a giveaway tonight. Thanks to our sponsors, Free League, we have a digital copy of the Vaesen core rulebook to give away. So hang out. At the end of the evening, we will draw. If you want to get in, hey, Insomnia, thanks for dropping in. Super appreciate you, man. If you want to get into the... man, I can't do two things at once.
Still relatable. Still very
relatable. Yes.
Oh, man. And if you want to get in on it, just type !drawing. And you will be entered, and at the end of the night we will draw, and hopefully you're still in the chat. You have to be in the chat at that point to win, but we will do that at the end of the evening. As I was saying earlier, I'm almost done. As I was saying earlier, our art is by the wonderful KT, wonderful, weird KT. So, I don't know if she's taking commissions or not, but you can always reach out to her if.
I guess. I don't know.
Open for business.
Open for business, baby.
And finally,
weird business.
Weird business. All the business that's weird to print. The last thing, if you want to encourage our players, you want to take part in the game a little bit, you can buy them some advantages. With 100 bits donation, you will be able to give a player of your choice an advantage for later on. You do have an advantage each, as we do at the beginning of each game. But if you want to help out, I have a feeling they might need it tonight, please consider donating. And of course, all the money that comes in here at Guild Spear goes right back into everything that we do here, just trying to make the show better and so on and so forth. We do have tons of cool announcements about what's the word I'm looking for? Fundraisers that we're doing in May. We're going to do a couple of weeks of fundraising for No Kid Hungry, and I will talk about that at the end of the show. But we have some special games planned, including some Lord of the Rings, some Blade Runner. We'll talk all about that in a little bit. But for now, I think I've covered everything. Have I? Who knows?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think so. We'll call it a covered. All right. So lettuce, tomato, and onions. Let us get into it. Here, I see I'm weird too. That's how we roll around here. When we last saw our intrepid, I'm not going to say adventure, I'm going to say investigators, because that is what you do. Vendela and Britta had arrived from Uppsala into a small town, the small town of Armsdalar. And Armsdalar is a small farming community in the south, I guess, western part of Norway. Vendela had come here at the request of Yor Engstrom, who was a lumberjack that she'd met on the boat in previous adventures, who said that there were some weird goings on in the village, and that he thought perhaps her and her friends could come and lend their expertise in investigating or Angstrom, yes, that's exactly what his name is, what was happening. Vendela, who had been at that point having discussions with Britta, who was interested in learning more about the Fae people and the changelings, decided to come along for the ride. When they arrived in town, they met a few of the more colorful local characters, including Father Victor, who was very polite and kind in receiving them, and the surly and nearly monosyllabic Rudolph, who walks around with a carcass on his shoulders, because, that's what a hunter does. And after the lot of them recognized each other as Tuesday's children, people with the gift, the ability to see Vaesen, they decided to gather together with Yor to understand exactly what was going on in the village. Yor explained that several years ago, we're talking about over 100 years ago, there was a common ritual held every year in the village, which was very pagan at a time, where every year some sacrifices would be made, an animal would be cut up into different pieces, and these pieces would be left at 4 specific spots around the village to ensure a good harvest. As time had gone on, they had stepped away from this practice, and now had even a priest in town, Father Victor, who was the first priest to ever arrive in Ormsdalar. But a few years ago, the harvest started turning bad again, and so some of the villagers started talking about perhaps reviving the ancient custom. But while they were still discussing it, someone took it upon themselves to go ahead and do it, except this time they didn't use an animal, but they used a human sacrifice, and cut up this human and spread the pieces around. And while people at first were very, what the hell is going on, they soon realized what a great and bountiful harvest they got that year. So this year they're wondering again, because we're coming up on the time of the sacrifice, and so they're wondering whether or not they should do this again. And you're fearing that perhaps another innocent of the village will be taken, has decided to sort of take matters into our friend's hands here. In doing your investigation, you went to the 4 site where these rituals used to sort of take place, and you found them empty and void of any presence of Vaesen or spirit or any sort of power, really. And so the ritual of the last year should not have worked if that is indeed what worked. At the last one, at the Weeping Rock, you met Leola, a fae creature, who told you that another one had come, one who, like you a year before, had the gift of the sight, and said he was here to fight the dragon, pointing to Lockspindler Industries, the company that is building a oil pipeline here a little bit to the northwest of the town. But that man had disappeared and not come back since then. Returning to the village, wanting to gather your thoughts and sit around and start figuring out exactly what was going on, you went your separate ways for a few moments, with Rudolph being drawn away by his white raven Hrafen to the site of where he now believes, I would assume, that the murder of the victim took place, having found an old sawmill where he found blood and remains of a uniform from Lockspindler, as well as a note that gave certain instructions, and I don't remember them off by heart. I'll read them in a second. During that time, Vendela and Britta had gone to the inn to get their things so that they could return to the church. While there, Britta saw someone that had a deep impact on her. She found herself shaken by the sight of this man who was talking to another man that you had met on the road here. This second man was a writer, a British writer named August Sharp, who was compiling a book on Vaesen and these sorts of creatures. You had then gone on to the church, where moments before, Father Victor was unfortunately assailed and taken by three members of the Pinkerton, by three well-dressed goons who, without a moment's hesitation, pummeled Father Victor to the ground. And, well, this is where we are now. All right, then. If everyone is readier than ready, and I guess you are, because I just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. The storm came on as suddenly as terror does when one awakes to a loud noise in the middle of the night. There was but one sudden boom of thunder, followed by an immediate strike of lightning that set the night ablaze with stark blue-white light. And then the rain came, a wet curtain sweeping across the valley, drenching the streets and homes, overflowing the gutters, sending animals scurrying for cover. Vendela and Britta, you barely avoided the downpour, finding your way inside the church via the still open door moments before the violence began in the air. Now you stare at the blood on the floor, finding it difficult to comprehend exactly what it is that you're seeing. And then the thunder roars, and the deluge begins, the rain falling like stones on the tarps covering the holes in the unfinished roof of the church. Suddenly a shadow looms over you from someone running up behind you. What do you do?
Vendela just is kind of taking in the blood and the rain and is just like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And on seeing the shadow, she grabs Britta to like pull her away from the immediate trajectory if they're still in the doorway, because for all she knows, this is someone who's going to continue whatever violence happened here, and she doesn't want them both to be in the immediate vicinity.
Britta's response is absolutely to turn around and like put up her fists and just, who are you?
As you turn around, you see a absolutely drenched to the bone Rudolph hurrying, running towards where you are.
Rudolph would give a look at Britta's fists, like, what are you gonna do? And then I would like to say that he has once he is inside, I would like to say that maybe he has brought the uniform, at least.
Yeah, so tell me what you did. You can definitely have brought the uniform. and anything else you wanted. But so look, let's just say that you've brought whatever you think. So whatever you end up wanting to have brought, unless you tell me I brought the bench saw, then maybe we'll sort of, pull back on that a little bit.
Bring the bench saw.
I did bring the bench saw. I was going to say that. I didn't get that. Yeah. I was already going to say that.
You're still running here. Actually, you're trying to drag it. You're about 10 feet away from the sawmill. So we will come back to you
at the end of the session.
Sometime next week. And just while we're on the subject, you do have the information from. I'll let you tell the players later the note I put in the info tab. All right, so I'll let you be the one to divulge that information.
Okay. First things first is Rudolph is going to throw down on the ground the uniform, the bloody remains of the Bachspindler uniform, and is going to say, I think we have a problem.
We have two problems. Is that the dismemberment happened again, didn't it? Is that what that's from? Well, from last year? Is that what that's from? Did it happen again?
Yeah, I guess. I reckon so. It is fresh.
I'm sorry, it wasn't fresh.
Oh, it's not fresh.
No, I'm sorry if that didn't make it through last time, but we were kind of rushing it. But it was definitely old blood, very dried on the things, and so yeah, it was definitely.
Okay, all right. Well, it's not fresh. I'll tell you that much. Not sure when it happened, but it's old. Came with a note. He'll hold that up. It's kind of soaked, but he'll hold it up and he'll say, take them to the old watermill, then make sure Ivar's daughter shuts her mouth on pain of suffering the same fate.
Okay, that's a place to look, but Father Victor's missing and there's blood?
That seems like priority number one. Your note is nice.
He's missing.
We just got here. We don't see anyone and there's blood on the floor. And he was
supposed to meet us here.
Yeah, we were the watchtower plan, the bell tower plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Would you like to do an investigation roll?
I would very much like to do that.
Remember also, everyone, take a look at your abilities, your powers once in a while, because sometimes there's stuff that you could use that I know we're not all 100% super boned up on the game, but there's sometimes things you could get out of them. And I don't want to always be like suggesting, because then you think I really have to use it. But
this is investigation, not vigilance, correct?
That's right.
Okay. All right. See?
Okay, so hold on to your roll, leave it where it is. What's everybody else? Because someone can help investigating if you want, which will give him extra dice to roll. What's Vandella and Britta doing?
I can help on the investigation roll.
Okay,
so then add 2 dice to your roll, Will.
Okay, cool. Britta, you just flex.
I was gonna say I could help too. I just don't. I'll just.
You can totally help if you want. Up to 3 people can help.
Sure. Yeah, I would love to. I'll start looking around too.
So do I get 2 more dice from Britta helping?
Exactly.
Okay. Perfect. Wow. Okay. So nothing until we got to the bonus dice, and then I got 3 successes.
Nice. All right.
Oh, 3 6s.
That's right. So one of my house rules is when you have the devil's luck, the 3 6s, you get extra business going on. So what happens is this: just as you start looking around and investigating, you get a clear sense of what happened. It's almost like you can see it in your mind, kind of, sort of happening in front of you in some sort of, hologram or something like that. You can sort of see Father Victor kind of making some tea. You see the teapot on the ground that has been shattered, and so you can imagine he was making tea, and then the door rang, and he came up to answer the door, and the door opened, and 3 very large men, and you can see this because of the amount of the space between their steps, right, sort of came in, dragging in dirt from outside, and you can tell that Father Victor sort of recoiled, and that's when he dropped the kettle that he was holding, and it shattered on the floor, and then you can tell that 2 of the people that came in kind of grabbed him, and again, from the angle of the blood spray and so on and so forth, you can tell that someone came in and hit him probably across the head with something. It doesn't look like he was stabbed or cut or something to that, like there's not enough blood for that, but definitely he was beaten a little bit, and enough blood sort of went out that it left a mark, and he fell, and then he was picked up very easily and hauled on out of there. And you get the feeling that this happened, 1, in like a matter of a few seconds, and 2, that the people doing this were experts at doing this, and also very big and very powerfully built. As you kind of investigate, because you got that devil's luck, you notice on the door, there's like a bit of a, they're still building this church, and the door frame's not kind of put in correctly, and there's a bit of a nail that comes out, and you can see a bit of purple cloth that's been ripped off the clothes of one of the assailants as they kind of went out the door. And because you had the devil's luck, I will tell you that you sniff the air and get the sense that, at least to some degree, the people who took him were supernatural in nature. Not to the level of Vaesen, but certainly, I would say, like, there's a little bit of supernatural there.
Okay. I think Rudolph is fully in like his Aragorn moment. So he's kind of just like moving across the floor and like crouching down and describing everything that you just said as he sees each individual thing and is just like laying it all out. And then he gets to the piece of purple cloth that's hanging on the door, and like it's going to reach out and take it and hold it in his hand, and it's going to say, well, if we find whoever's wearing something very expensive and purple, we'll know who took the priest.
And as you say those words, took the priest, there's a peal of thunder and a huge gust of wind, and some of the tarps that are covering the roof fly off with this huge flapping and sound, and sort of go flying off, and water just starts coming into the church right on top of where the sort of lectern where the priest would set up to do his sermon, and the rain is just coming down, and the lightning is shining through that hole in the sky, and the water, it's just splashing everywhere, and it's already starting to kind of pool, and you can see that it's going through eventually the cracks of the floor. But it was very, very dramatic.
I think the people might be onto something. I don't think they like the church, whatever they are.
It's not a great omen right there. Have you seen anyone wearing purple around the village?
I'm assuming I haven't.
No, there would have been probably a little, a few things here and there, but nothing kind of matching this.
Yeah, feels like I would have noticed something like that. That sounds very out of place for.
I will say also that you probably get the feeling with that 666 that you had that you could probably follow their trail, like obviously not the physical trail because the rain's kind of obliterating everything, but that sense of that kind of whiff of the supernatural is still kind of hanging around, and it's really kind of making your senses tingle.
Mm.
They left behind. What's that?
Smelly. is what Britta will say.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah,
a
they're
kitten
smelly.
is like on your shoulders, kind of wrap, and like with this just sort of the thunder and the rain and the lightning, kitten's just like kind of like around your neck like this and not letting go.
Yeah, Kitten's tail is very fluffy right now. Very upset.
They've left behind some kind of a trail that I think I could follow. Even in the rain.
We should go now before whatever's left gets washed away. Are you okay with that, Britta?
Kitten doesn't seem to be, but I guess we'll do what we can do.
You sure you want to come? It could be dangerous.
Britta's gonna storm off in the direction of where she thinks she's going.
I think that's her answer. And yeah.
This way. It's this way, actually.
Let's go.
So you will head off and try and find the missing priest.
That's the goal.
All right. So speaking of the missing priest,
Oh dear.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
is it really though?
If I say it enough times, it is true.
If you will it, it is true. You, Father Victor, I'll get to you here in a second. You know what I did, right? I forgot one of my tokens because I'm stupid like that. If you'll give me just 1 second.
Yeah. No worries. It happens.
Exactly
this is-
1 second.
Exactly.
This is a fun place.
1 second.
You want me to fill the
Ooh,
air by
look at
talking about
that.
my
Yeah,
snacks?
talk about your snacks.
Everybody's gonna leave.
That would be absolutely awesome if you could talk about your snacks.
All right, so
Do it all.
there's a brand called Spudsy, and they make a bunch of
Not sponsored.
really delicious
Not sponsored.
snacks. They have a vegan cheese flavor that's really good, and then they have a cinnamon sugar flavor that's equally as good. And
A vegan cheese flavor?
yeah, it's like cheese flavored, but it's made out of like, like garlic and like whatever. I don't know. It tastes like Cheetos. It honestly just kind of tastes like Cheetos,
Interesting.
but it's vegan. Have a cinnamon sugar flavor that's really delicious. That was probably my favorite. But tonight we are just fully indulging in the hot fry flavor.
Valid.
It's a hot fry kind of night, honestly. We're in the middle of the second of 3 12-hour shifts in a row. We're doing hot fries.
It's a hot fry kind of night.
Mhm.
I like it. All right, just 1 second. I'll be there. I'm sorry.
I'll keep going.
I thought I was ready, but apparently I wasn't as ready.
Sponsor us, Spudsy, you coward.
That's right.
Promoting those good hot fries.
No, they are delicious. I do think they will help me get it together enough to somehow rescue the priest.
I mean, I thought we established she's just going to have a nice, peaceful talk with them and they'll
Yeah.
understand and then everyone will go their separate ways.
I don't think
Honestly,
he needs to be rescued looking at this map.
No, this is a normal house.
it's a normal map.
Nothing sinful here.
Normal
It's
map,
fine.
normal house.
Nothing bad happens. in the
Everybody
place.
worships in their own ways.
Yeah.
That's
Who are we to judge?
That's gonna be fine. That's gonna be
That's
it's
so
gonna-
fine. That is the finest thing
It's a
I've
party
ever seen.
house. That's
I
all.
feel like JD's gonna get like fully like kidnapped, and he's gonna be like in someone's trunk, just like this is fine. This is fine.
100%.
Father Victor's just like, this might as well happen.
Not even Father Victor.
It's
just
just
JD.
Just JD. is what I was
JD,
saying.
yep.
It's just straight up JD, and he's definitely getting kidnapped. And the whole time he's like, "Great, yeah, no, this is good. This is good for me, honestly."
It's fine. It's fine.
So, Father Victor,
Yes.
you
Having a good time.
find yourself coming to with the worst splitting headache you've ever imagined. And as you move slowly, you find you're not restrained, but you're lying on the floor and you kind of sort of push yourself up. And your head just, you kind of feel woozy and you feel like maybe you're going to faint again. There's a very strong odor of blood and meat that surrounds you. And you reach up and you feel the blood that has kind of dripped all the way down. It's like half your face is covered in it, almost like you have a mask over half of your face now. And the room is kind of spinning and it's difficult. It's very dark in here. There's just a couple of oil lamps that are set up here and there, and you can definitely tell that there are people around you. When you look around and take in your surroundings, you realize you're in some sort of little cabin somewhere, maybe in the woods. You can see through one of the windows, tree branches moving. There's a storm going on outside. There are around you braziers that are currently just cold, that haven't been lit in a little while, and you notice, quite to your dismay, that the floor, the wooden floor that you're lying on, is covered in old, dry blood, but also a fair amount of fresh blood, more than you could have really yourself have lost. There are strange arcane symbols drawn into the floor, burnt, basically, etched with some burning brand of some sort. And when you look through the door to the room on the north, you can see carcasses hanging in that room. They're reddish, dark reddish skin sort of gleaming in what little light comes in when there's a strike of lightning outside, and you get that that's where the smell of blood and meat is sort of coming from. And you hear movement, and you can tell that there are people in the room, but tell us, Father, how do you feel?
Father Victor is scared. He does not like finding himself in this horrible situation. You know what? That may have been an understatement. He is trying not to panic. He is somebody who is very good at being and remaining composed for the most part. And so he is just trying to gather as much information about the space that he's in the hopes that he can then find a way to get out before anything worse happens.
You hear the patter of rain on the rooftop. The peals of lightning that come down once in a while light up the windows that you see are boarded up. Not super well, but they have, wooden shutters certainly drawn about them. The only door in the room that you think might lead outside is behind a couple of people. The other thing that kind of, now that you're looking around, that kind of strikes you is that there are easily 15, 20, maybe more stuffed heads of animals mounted on the walls. All these trophies from hunts, elks, deers, there's a bear, there are several other animals like that, and they're all kind of staring at you with their lifeless, glassy, beady eyes, just sort of all surrounding you and staring at you. And in your head, the voice says, "Oh my." You notice off in the corner down here a figure sort of shuffling around and kind of trying to stay into the shadows a little bit, but the general physical stature of the man, as well as the white hair and white beard, betray who he is, and you recognize Tord Barstad, one of the elders of the village. One of the ones who was less than enthralled at your presence in the village and was pushing for a return to the old ways. The other occupants in the room over here, one is a tall, gangly figure that you recognize from your doorway from however long ago it was before you were knocked out, who is wearing some nice long purple shirt with a nice vest over it and a little bowler hat, and this kind of tall, gangly figure is leaning there with arm crossed in the doorway and is just sort of checking out his nails and sort of cleaning them with a knife that he's holding very sort of nonchalantly. But the one that sort of draws your attention the most is the one who is approaching you right now. This very strange figure steps into the light in front of you. And you see, and I will give you here on the map, we'll see it there in a sec, but I'll put it here for you for your convenience. You see this strange, tall, very lean woman carrying a black doctor's bag and wearing gardener's glove, like plastic gardener's glove, and she has a cloak like this over her head. And when she approaches, you see that her eyes are a very striking sort of violet under the hood. And while you sort of instinctively realize that she's not Vaesen, there is a feeling of a certain amount of supernatural power about her, supernatural sort of energy that sort of emanates from her, as well as from the thug in the doorway. She approaches you and says, "Father, how are you doing?" "Good, I hope." And she kneels down in front of you and deposits her little doctor's bag and sort of checks you, and she goes, "Hi, I am doctor." And she'll come over and sort of touch your head a little bit.
Victor flinches back from her.
It's okay. It's okay. When she removes her cloak, you see that her skin is a sort of weird dull gray. Her head is bald, and she has fairly pointed ears that curves gently around the back of her head. Do you feel good enough to have a little discussion?
If you wanted to have a discussion, there were better ways to begin it than this.
Perhaps. But this is very expedient. She opens her bag and starts rummaging through it. She's like, "You must be wondering who I am. Well, let's say I'm the one they send when they want to skip the tedious asking, threatening, torture part and go straight to getting answers." She's got a few vials out and she starts mixing a few things. I would like to ask you a few questions, and this will ensure that you tell me the truth. It is much less painful that, and she looks over her shoulder at the big thug that's kind of in the corner of by the door, than what he would do. So those are really your choices. May I proceed?
Why isn't one option that you simply ask your questions and I answer them?
Well, see, that's where we go back to the how much time does it take? We want to get to the answers right away. The less amount of time we spend here doing this, the better it is for everybody.
Why are you so convinced that I will not answer truthfully? What's the need for threats of violence?
Well, very well. I'm happy to. Let's do an experiment. I will not use my ointment, and I will ask my questions, and then you will not answer them to my satisfaction. We'll be right back here, but at least I will have proven my point, yes.
That seems fair.
There are some people in the village who would rather you not be here, but we'll address that shortly. My interest is not in you, Father, so perhaps you will find in that reason enough to be open with me. My interest is in the woman you met earlier today. Her name is Vendela.
I know very little about her. I met her, as you said, today.
I understand that. Still, the person I work with is very interested in her, and I would simply like to know everything that you have seen or noticed or heard about her today. Anything, even if it feels remotely uninteresting to you, might be of great importance to my employer. And so, begin.
It seems strange to me that there would be such an interest in her when she literally arrived today.
But you assume that our interest in her stems from this morning. Our interest in her dates back several months, years, in fact.
And why choose me to interrogate?
Because you and I have a lot in common. You might find that difficult to believe, but you're a priest. My particular skills lie in finding out people's secrets, and really isn't that what a priest does? Ooh, she's got you pinned there. She's got you colored. She knows the size of the shirt you're wearing and everything.
To be frank, I haven't exactly had the chance to take her confession in the time we've known each other.
No, but you are an expert, aren't you, at feeling, understanding, without words being spoken, really, when people are hiding things. That is what you do, is it not? So, as I said, anything you can tell me will be of great value to me. And just so we're clear, this discussion we're having, all of this, we would have skipped over all of this if you'd simply let me use my Unguent. It was simply have gotten us right away to you telling me everything you knew about her without having to worry about what was going on or whether or not it was right or wrong or whether you were telling me important things or not. But we'll do it your way for now.
Again, I'm afraid there is not much that I can share. She is from out of the town.
Mm-hmm.
We went around to some of the different sites.
Mm-hmm.
She
Has she
arrived.
displayed any sort of strange abilities?
I'm a man of God. I don't particularly look for strange abilities.
Two voices, hers and the one in your head. Maybe you don't look for abilities, but you're always looking for the strange stuff, aren't you, Father? You are not blind to the fact that there are things. How did the playwright put it? That are beyond your philosophies. There's just things in this world that don't make sense to most people, but to you. Someone like you, gifted with seeing things, with seeing not just things external, but internal, seeing things inside of people. There are things, you know, that are not so easy to explain.
There are, and I see that all as a part of God's plan.
Well, that's one way to put it. Anything else? Anything else you noticed strange about her? Perhaps some markings? Anything physical? Anything that she might have said?
She seemed like a nice, polite young woman.
All right. Well, we're right back where we started. I simply can't trust that you're telling me everything. Now, this is very painless. Will you allow me to do this, or do I need to get my friend here to help me? While this is going on, Tord, who's in the back, is getting more and more nervous, and he's kind of pacing back and forth. He's like, is this all necessary? We don't really need to do this. We just want him out of town. I don't know what all this bullshit is. Just fucking get him out of here. It's better for him. It's better for everyone. Just get him out of here and be done with it. What's this questioning about this other stranger? She's from Uppsala. She'll be gone before we even know it. Your interrogator just ignores him. We've played your game, Father. Can we play mine now, please? For a moment.
And Father Victor considers that for a moment. He thinks back to what he saw on the island of Vendella's pointed ears. He thinks about the voice that speaks to him. He looks at the vials and he says, well, it might be painless. I'm not trying your way.
And the goon at the door just comes marching in, and he's just gonna go ahead and try to grab you. What would you like to do?
For the moment, I'm going to let him.
Okay. He's gonna like kind of get you into like this weird sort of lock around your arms, and he's extremely extremely strong as he holds you. And up close, you can get the sense also, like I was saying, that he's some sort of magical creature. He's got, as you look at him, his sort of humanish face tends to come and go, looking kind of trollish with like a big nose and little horns that sprout from top of his head. But then they go back to looking sort of a bit more normal. And as he grabs your arms, she reaches forward and she goes, the thigh is always where the best meat is. And she rips the side of your pants along my thigh. Do you wish to do something?
I'm going to try to kick her.
Okay. So go ahead, and you're going to make a fight check, but you're going to make it, unfortunately, at a disadvantage since you are being restrained by the goon. So you will make a close combat and physique roll.
And how much of a disadvantage am I at?
You'll lose 2 dice.
Cool.
You and it'll be an opposed roll because he's holding you. What do we?
Did that just leave you with 1 dice?
Left me with 2.
Oh, great.
So you go and try to kick her, and she just, almost as if she saw it coming, she just really slowly moves, and like your foot kind of goes off, and she uses that opportunity to kind of grab your leg, and opens up the thing on the rip in your pants, and takes a little bit of that salve that she was making earlier and spreads it on your thigh. And as she does, you feel a little bit of warmth, but nothing else really that kind of feels too strange. And then very quickly, she draws a little knife and quickly draws a little symbol in it. Not enough to do damage. And then lets you go. And as she lets you go, and the goon behind you is kind of sort of holding you back, the voice in your head says, "Oh, well, this should be interesting."
You are, as always, completely unhelpful.
Don't you realize what's happening?
Would you care to enlighten me?
You realize that the world around you is kind of blurred. You can still see her shape in front of you, You realize that you're talking. Your body is speaking. But you're kind of locked inside your head, and your body is just kind of like an automaton, just sort of spilling things out. The voice inside your head says, well, it should be over fast. You really don't know much about her. I don't know what more she could want. This does leave us in an interesting position, though. From what I can tell, this salve or whatever it is that she put on you seems to really enforce a desire to tell the truth. We know, you and I, that the truth is something that you don't like very much. You're not very keen on acknowledging the truth of certain things. Right, Victor?
I have no idea what you could be talking about.
Of course you don't. It's very helpful to have me in your head. When you look at someone and I whisper dirty little secrets about them in your ear and I tell you what they're thinking or what they've been doing, it's very liberating to know that it's not you, it's me doing that. I'm the devil on your shoulder. I'm the bad one talking to you, telling you these things. You're just an innocent, right? It makes things so much cleaner, doesn't it?
Given that is the situation we're in, I suppose so.
There's one thing, though, and unfortunately, I think you're about to have to reckon with it because of this little ritual this elf has done to you. As he's talking, you can hear the voice is changing. It's dropping in timbre. The tone of it is changing a little bit. This thing probably won't last very long, Father. But I'm both excited and afraid to tell you, and the voice keeps changing as he's talking. Excited and afraid to tell you that unfortunately it's going to make you have to reckon with a few truths about yourself. And as he says, yourself, the voice has changed, and you realize that it's exactly like yours. Well, now, finally, we've had a breakthrough.
This is another trick.
There's someone pulling tricks here, Victor. It's certainly not me. And the voice continues to be exactly like yours. You know it all along, haven't you? I mean, it was comfortable. Truth never is comfortable. But truth is liberating if you let it.
I wouldn't think I wouldn't say the horrible things that you have. I wouldn't do that.
Well, isn't it just great then that you had me to say them for you? Well, I think you're going to have to reckon with that part of you now, Victor, because I don't think we're going to go back to the way it was. I think I like this new openness between us, honesty. Tastes succulent, doesn't it?
Why?
I should be asking you.
If I knew, I would answer my own question.
Isn't that what you're doing right now? she's gone. You can rest easy now.
Can I?
It's really dependent on your conscience now, isn't it, Victor? Outside the cabin, Britta and Vendela and Rudolph, you are following the scent and trace of the kidnappers, and you find yourself approaching, Rudolph, a place that you were at earlier today, the cabin that you saw Tord and Joanna Ibsen exit from. Only now, with the storm and with the night, it looks even more peculiar and unwelcoming. You, as you approach it, see the door is open and there is light inside, and even from where you are now that the rain is starting to lessen a little bit, you can see sitting in the middle of the floor Father Victor, alone. He seems to be talking to someone, but you can't see anybody else in the room.
Well, that's just normal priest stuff, isn't it?
Is it?
I'm always talking to somebody that's not there.
Absolutely. We'll just like storm in first out of defiance. Father? You okay?
Is Victor able to respond to that?
You sort of come out as you hear this voice, and it's kind of sounds strange at first, like it's coming from really far, and there's kind of echoes, and at first you think someone's talking to you in a language that you don't understand, but then the echo, the reverberation of the echo starts to kind of bring you forward, and you look up and you can see coming into the cabin where you are, the three of them, and you can see Britta with a kitten on her shoulder, looking very concerned. And you're pretty sure she's the one who spoke. You're not quite sure what it was. It kind of got lost in all the echo, but now you look up and you see them, and you know that she spoke. You just don't know what she said.
And Father Victor stares at you blankly for a few moments, and then rather than responding, looks around the cabin to see if anyone who was there before remains.
You see no one, just the carcasses in the other rooms swinging a little bit. The rain outside seems to be lessening as you hear only a little bit of a pitter-patter on the roof, and the thunder sounds far off, and when there is a peal of lightning, it is a good bit of time after the thunder. Or the other way around. Lightning comes first.
Father Victor looks back at the three of you, but mostly at Vendela, and just says, "I'm sorry."
What exactly? You're covered in blood, and why are you apologizing to me?
I didn't want to tell her anything.
Who was with you?
I don't know.
Tord. I saw him earlier, coming out of this place. Didn't give it a second thought.
I mean him, but not just him. He didn't seem to want this to happen.
What did he want to happen? Did you get a sense of that?
Oh, he just wanted me gone.
Oh.
Who else was trying to hurt you?
think she was elven. She had questions for me.
What was she questioning you about?
You.
We don't know each other. Why would... That doesn't make sense.
Aren't you elven?
Complicated?
Britta will kind of step up and be like, is it your business?
Apparently, it's all of our business now.
My mother was. My father is not. I doubt I'm the only one with such colorful heritage, but it doesn't explain why they think you would have information on me in that regard.
Wasn't wrong. I saw your ears. She said that something about looking for you for years.
That doesn't make sense. Shouldn't have let it look at my... I just froze up. I was stupid. I should have known better than to freeze up. So you told her that, and that you heard me talking with...
Yes.
Great. I don't
Do you know
what...
who she is? Why somebody would be after you?
I don't know any elves. I grew up in Uppsala. I was raised in a city. I never met any... I encountered one a few months ago, but he was killed. And I was not alone in the group that encountered him.
Sorry to ask the obvious question. Said they've been looking for you for years. Do you know your mother?
I did. She left when I was little. She said she had to go away, and I have reason to believe she's no longer in this country. But my father was very protective of both of us. He wouldn't just tell people that secret. He raised me to always hide that. He wouldn't tell anyone.
Someone obviously knew something. If they went to all this trouble to get information out of me.
There was... After my mother left, this man started showing up at my father's shop, but it was only a few times. I thought father had hired him to try to find my mother. That's what he said he did, but I don't think my father would have told a stranger about us. He had red hair, a red goatee. He told me to call him Uncle Thorstein, but I don't know if that was his real name or not. He said he was a friend of I think my mother's. But
Thorstein.
you know him?
I met someone like that on the train here. He had a pocket watch, right?
I think so. It's been a very long time. Silver?
Yes.
My father wouldn't have told him about us. And it doesn't make sense because I was in Uppsala. I grew up in Uppsala. We didn't move around. If he wanted to find me, we lived in Uppsala. It doesn't make sense.
Who is us?
My
Said your father wouldn't have told him about us. Looks at
Me and
Britta. You know?
Me? No. But what you guys have noticed, I think, this whole time is that Vendela said Thorstein, there was this look of like recognition on Britta's face, and then an immediate moment of like, wait, what? Like, what? And then just like blankness and confusion again.
Britta, how do you know Thorstein?
You know, it's like I can formulate like thoughts. I can't quite say. I can't quite say.
Like, you physically cannot say, or you were told not to say?
Like I physically can't say. Huh.
Rudolph, is this name familiar to you?
I don't know a Thorstein.
Well, lucky you.
What do you know about him, Vendela?
Just that he was someone that my father had said he'd hired to try to find my mother.
Okay.
He came by maybe 2 or 3 times. He told me to call him Uncle Thorstein and would sometimes just give me candy. And other than that, he really didn't have much interaction with him. He mainly interacted with my father, and usually when I wasn't privy to what their conversations were about. I just assumed it was about my mom and where she might have gone.
You said he had a watch?
Silver pocket watch.
Was it this one? Rudolph will pull out a silver pocket watch.
What? Is it the same one?
Lies, full of lies over here. Mr. I don't know Thorstein.
I don't know Thorstein, but is this the watch?
It is. You recognize when you see it, an engraving on it, and I'm going to put it over here on the owlbear. I'm not going to show it because unfortunately I couldn't find an attribution to it, but it is a tree that is sort of twisted sort of upon itself with a large canopy, and around it is a sort of serpent or dragon that is eating its tail, and it looks very sort of Scandinavian in design. If anyone is interested in giving me a learning check.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
I got one.
I got one.
Nothing.
Okay. Both of you who got at least one success will recognize
I got
this.
a 1.
All right, nice. So all of you who got one success will recognize this as a symbol of the tree Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil is the world tree in Norse mythology that is, the center of the universe, and the serpent around it is Jormungandr, who is one of the children of Loki, who was taken by Thor and beaten and put into the river that goes around the tree, and is one of the monsters that rises at Ragnarok to destroy the world, along with Fenrir and Ella, the other children of Loki.
Vaesen brought it to me.
You
He
see
does that
he's
sometimes.
outside now, perched on the window.
Oh, come here, buddy.
He sort of kind of looks around and kind of shakes his head and flies off. And
It's a very normal bird.
If you say so.
That is the watch.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
When was it brought to you?
Recently, I think within a couple of days, right?
a couple days ago.
Vendela's gonna go over to the father and just kind of give him a handkerchief to clean up his blood. And do I notice a symbol on his leg?
No, you do notice that his pants are ripped, and the skin's a little raw, but there doesn't seem to be anything else. As Vendela sort of comes to you and offers you that and sees this and maybe checks it out, you get a brief flash, Father Victor. The last thing you remember from this woman doing just before she left, while you were still talking inside your head, you saw her lick the blood off the blade and then lean in and whisper, "This way, I'll always know where to find you, Father."
No.
Yuck. Just yuck.
I hate all of that.
Inappropriate.
Victor
Jake.
doesn't love that either. In fact, inadvertently, he definitely moves away from Vendela.
Sorry, it looks like it's just your head.
And he pauses and looks down at his leg and
They
then
rip your
just says,
pants.
very astute, Rudolph.
Why did they do that?
So that they could force me to tell them the truth.
Nicholas, sure.
Rudolph. Clearly not an appropriate time. Father, are you okay?
Fine.
What they do to force you?
She had some vials, some ointment, and she put that and carved a symbol into my leg.
Well, not into your flesh. There's nothing there but some irritated skin. Do you remember what the symbol was? Was it a rune?
Do I remember what the symbol was?
It was hard to say. It was lines. Could have been.
It might have been.
Would you recognize it if you saw it again?
Possibly, but probably not. A lot was happening.
We should get out of here, unless we want to search
Look
it
over.
first. For
Yeah,
any
we
clues.
We should probably search this place first.
Wait, Rudolph, you said you saw Tord here earlier?
Well, hunting. Him and another person. Whose name I forget.
Joanna Ibsen, she's the sort of midwife of the village.
The midwife.
Probably related to the playwright.
Well, yes, I suppose we should look around.
So I will suggest one of you does an investigation check. The other ones will help him. I muffed earlier. It's supposed to be 1 dice per person. That helps you, not 2. But but now you can get 3 extra dice from all these wonderful people helping you.
I'm
Or
happy to
whoever
roll.
wants to roll the investigation. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
offer aid. Let's get that 3 dice.
Kitten will hop down off my shoulders and start sniffing around.
It's getting under the bed, under furniture.
Exactly. She's skittering. He's skittering.
So
Trying
close.
to-
Only. Sorry.
I was gonna say he's trying to gnaw on the taxidermied animals.
There's like fresh meat hanging on
Oh.
in the other room.
Great. That's where Kitten went.
Just dives
Oh, yeah,
into the
there's just
carcass.
Kittens eating
There's just-
evidence.
There's
What
just
a-
people there. I forgot about that.
No,
There's
there's.
people.
No, it's not people, right? Right?
Is
it?
Right?
It wasn't
It's not people.
specified.
Well,
right?
you know, give me your investigation check and we'll find out.
Ah!
2 successes. We almost got 3, but
All
not
right.
quite.
No, 2 is
Oh,
very
damn.
good. So, no, they are not human beings. They are
Oh, thank
animal
God.
carcasses.
On a 3, they might have been.
On the surface, this looks like any other sort of hunting shack you would find. You know, the meat's left up to cure. There's all the paraphernalia you would need to do that. There's curing salts and there's, you know, butchering knives and things of that nature. That's sort of in the other room. This room, the thing that does stand out the most, of course, is all the sort of arcane symbols that are drawn on the floor, things of that nature. There's a knife that looks to be like some sort of ceremonial knife in here also. There's evidence that there's a lot of blood that's been spilled here over the years. The boards are just, the blood is just encrusted in the blood, the floorboards of the cabin, like ancient, like, you know, the cabin itself looks like it's been here for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, who knows. The
So
thing...
it seems like.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So it seems like people are doing sacrifices and
Well,
rituals here.
So this is the thing, and especially I guess Vandella more than anyone perhaps would know, but as you investigate this, you realize that these symbols are they're fake, they're not real. They're like, you know, what people get from, you know, like from their granny or something like that that's supposed to work, but you specifically would know that there's no real power in any of them. Some of them are kind of misused and put in different places, and it just really looks like, you know, someone who, you know, hasn't really been taught the real thing. And one of the things that will give you also is the lot of you search this places, there really is no feeling of power in this place. There's no notion that, you know, especially you, Vandella, after having been in the lodge that you were in Isa, where there were the 3 druids, and like you really encountered some powerful lion spirit magic there. There's not a whiff of it here. There's barely, like, you know, a soupçon of really the faintest trace of anything, and it could be from the people that were here earlier, or the fact that, you know, if they did sort of butcher the animals here in the day that they used in the rituals, like that would leave kind of that little faint trace. But compared to that other place that you found, Rudolph, like that other place, look, there'd been one murder done there, one sacrifice done there, and it was way more amped up than then this cabin is basically like rural pagan make-believe kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Rudolph wouldn't have a frame of reference for that, so I think he'll just point this stuff out like he'll assume that it's real, but he'll point it out to Vendela, and I'm sure she'd be able to tell that.
And same thing with the knife. When you have a knife of power, actually, you do, but you know what that feels like. And this is just a knife that someone's great grandfather made at some point, and they added bits of bones and carved random things in the blade, and you would know that if the purpose was what it used to be, which is to slaughter animals, and then the act was in the giving of the parts. It wasn't in the slaughtering of it. So there didn't need to be magic. All that was needed was the act of giving the proper pieces to the different things, right? So that would have been what would have satisfied the Landvitir, the spirit of the land. The actual killing of it didn't really matter.
These symbols don't mean anything. This is, I don't want to say pageantry, because clearly it feels like whoever put this together believed this was doing something, but it's just drawings anyone could have put together. They have materials, but they aren't used in a way that would imbue them with power. There's nothing powerful here. It's a belief, but the ritual around it isn't actually a ritual. It doesn't do anything. And maybe the meat they offered, it was the offering that appeased the spirits that used to reside here, but the ritual itself wouldn't have, based on what I'm seeing here, wouldn't have done anything. Did you see anything similar where you found the remains, Rudolph?
Wait, what remains?
Yeah.
Found a body. Remains, long, dead. Lock spindler uniform. Bones. Burned. A sawmill. But it was different than this. There was I didn't see any symbols. It looked less like witchcraft, but it felt more like witchcraft.
And so as you contemplate all this, you do realize it is quite late in the night. It's almost morning. Perhaps thinking you would think better on a rested head. I will say that you pick up your things. You can fill Father Victor in on your discovery of the sawmill on your way back, and you would head back to town. Where is everyone going to go and spend the night a little bit? Because you do want to get a few hours of sleep in order to kind of, be able to face this. So just before we take a break here, if you would tell me where y'all are going to go and sleep.
Vendela's a little on edge about going back to the inn after all that.
Yeah, it's probably not a great idea. Is there a safe place that you guys know of?
I have a house, supposedly.
Yeah, you'd have a house. I would assume that it's probably fairly small and that someone might get an old beat up couch, but a couple of people are definitely sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, Britta uses Kitten as a pillow, and
Kitten has eaten so much meat. Kitten's just lying on you, just
full and happy.
Yeah,
he's
just
so big. His
big
belly's
belly.
so big.
And I think when we get there, Rudolph would just kind of turn to Victor and say, "Take off your pants."
Well, this is a different kind of stream now.
I'm going to fix them.
Okay. That's kind of you.
Toss him like a buckskin or something so that he's not just
Pants in his underwear.
yeah. But yeah,
Well, yeah, you would have. Anyways, you would have like. I'd assume you're wearing some kind of robe, so you'd have the pants underneath it, and you'd still have kind of the robe.
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
Although
And
drenched in blood right now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good job necessarily. Like it's not seamless or anything, but Rudolph will stitch the seam closed.
And all the stitches are done in little pentagrams.
Yeah, exactly.
So you will all retire then to the cabin of the infamous hunter, Rudolph. Raven will escort you along the way and find his own post that he likes to take in a tree up ahead near the house. And you will try to get a little rest, which I'm sure you'll be a little bit on edge. Do you set a guard? No, don't worry about that. But we will also take a rest. We'll take a short break here, just to kind of recenter ourselves, and we will be back in just a few short minutes. Please hang out with us. Reminder: we do have a giveaway, a digital copy of the Vaesen core rulebook, thanks to our wonderful sponsors at Free League. If you want to get in on that, !drawing in the chat. That will get you put into the pool, and then we will draw a name at the end of the stream. Please note that you still have to be in here if you want to get it. But !drawing. Otherwise, we will be back in about 5 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. You were all amazing. My players, absolutely fantastic. There was some great A top shelf role playing. Can't wait to see what happens after this. We are out, and we will see you in a few minutes. Au revoir. Just when I thought it was out.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
They pulled
goodness.
me back. And hey, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are apparently quite giddy here and ready to go back. We appreciate all of you hanging out with us. Quick reminder, we do have a drawing tonight, thanks to our sponsors at Free League Publishing, of a digital copy of Vaesen Core Rulebook. If you want to get in on that, !drawing in the chat. We'll get you in on that. We'll draw it at the end of the game. So just before the game, you had rescued just before the game, for the break. Sorry, you had rescued Father Victor from the cabin where he was being held and where he had been questioned by some sort of strange elfin woman with some sort of truth potion-y thing. We had uncovered dark things about Father Victor Nyland's psyche in there while we were at it, and you start putting a couple of pieces together, including the fact that somehow you're all in one way, shape, or form connected to a man called Thorstein that Rudolph had his watch that had been taken recently by Raven and brought to him, and the rest of you have met Thorstein. Now, I was doing something, so I didn't 100% get what Britta revealed about Thorstein, but just that you couldn't
Yeah,
really...
just that I couldn't really actually talk about him.
Yeah,
like
okay.
I like that I knew of him, but every time that I tried to say something, it wouldn't quite come out physically.
And
That's
what you revealed. Cool.
Mhm.
And so there's that connection, and the fact that on the watch was the symbol of Yggdrasil, the Tree of Life, and Jormungandr, the serpent, the son, one of the sons of Loki's, encircling it. And then you headed back to Rudolph's home, where he very gallantly fixed Father Victor's pants after throwing him some old buckskin to wear. And a lot of you tried to get some sleep. Now, you did manage to get a few hours. If you had any sort of lingering conditions or whatnot, you can cure them. But I don't think anyone had anything. The next morning, when you wake up, the sun is it's come out a little bit, but it's kind of this pale white orb up in the sky, and there's a fair amount of clouds, and there's a bit of a chill wind that's blowing through the town. And although the rain from yesterday did some wonders, the earth had been so dry and cracked up until now, so it does kind of give a little boost to the plants and the trees and whatnot, which are still bare, but it is a very humid, breezy early morning here when you awake. And just before you awake, Rudolph, you are... How did the bedding situation work? So I'd say you have a bed and a couch. Now I would say you could, since you're a man, Grizzly Adams kind of want to be left alone. Your bed might not be very big, but how did you make the arrangement? Two people might be able to sleep it. So just give me an idea of what were the sleeping arrangements that you made.
I don't think Rudolph would have told anyone where to sleep, but he definitely would have just laid down on the floor and wrapped himself up in furs and gone to sleep.
By the fireplace.
Yeah.
Also think Britta indignantly laid down on the floor.
Not even on the carpet, and just laid on the floor.
Yeah,
Straight
opposite sides of the
hard.
room.
Absolutely, with kitten underneath of her big fat belly, purring. Just.
And for the others, there would have been the bed and the couch. So
Father Victor would have offered Vendela the bed.
Vendela would have accepted unless she was like, I mean, unless you're more comfortable since he's your friend sometimes.
Friend is a strong word.
I'll take the
Acquaintance.
bed then. Thank you. And thank you for trying.
you get the feeling maybe you got tricked because that mattress is abominable. It's got this saggy, old, rusty, and it just kind of sags like this. So
Been played by the priest.
that's right.
Sorry.
The floor is genuinely more comfortable.
Comfortable.
I was going to say, he doesn't sleep in the bed. He just has one. The place came with it.
But
Amazing.
oddly enough, Rudolph, you wake up in your bed, staring at the ceiling. There's a faint odor of wood smoke, as if something is burning.
Rudolph sits up sharply and probably just starts yelling fire.
As you sit up and go to yell fire, you notice there's someone sleeping next to you in the bed.
Okay, I see where this is going. Who's there?
The person's not moving.
I go to shake them because there's a fire, and whoever they are, we need to get out of here.
And very slowly, the woman that's lying in bed next to you turns her head over her shoulder, giving you this grin that just keeps going and going. And you see the desiccated, dried skin of her face start to crack as she goes, "Is it time to get up yet, love?" And with that, you sit up awake on the floor, your heart pumping. You can see Britta still asleep with Kitten near the fire. It's just before dawn. kind of that magic hour. The house is very quiet. And you hear it again, a very timid knock at the door.
I'll get up, but can I see through the window who is knocking?
Absolutely. You don't want to be caught by the thugs, right? Because this is their modus operandi.
Yeah.
You will absolutely look through the window, and you will see, kind of strangely enough, I guess, a woman outside that you know, Mira Klein, the wife of the innkeeper, is standing outside for your door. She's got a little basket with like a little white cloth over it, and you can see her kind of fix her apron, and she can then kind of look over her shoulders and knock a little bit again.
I'll open the door. Would I know, is this like the meat from the carcass that I deposited?
You might think that.
Delivering that.
You might think that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll assume that that's probably the case, and I'll open the door.
Hi, Rudolph. I just wanted to bring you and she removes the thing, and you can see like fresh baked bread, and the aroma just sort of lifts up and sort of wafts over you, and you can see a couple of cakes in there also. She's like, I made a few extra this morning by mistake, and I thought perhaps that, and then she kind of looks over your shoulder, and you realize she can see someone, probably Father Victor, sleeping on the couch or something. So, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you had. I didn't know you had guests. I'm very sorry.
That's just the priest.
Yes, I can see that, and I think there's someone on your floor. Anyways, I just wanted to bring you these, and she kind of pushes the basket into your hands. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. I'll see you later. Bye, Rudolph. And she totters off and heads back down to the village to her husband.
Rudolph will turn around and shut the door, and if anybody's awake, he'll just like set the basket down and...
Yeah, this has probably awakened Britta and Father Victor.
A kitten, I think, actually. This woke Kitten, and Kitten wiggled his way out from underneath of Britta's head, and Britta's head right on the floor, and then she woke up.
Yeah, forgot to charge me.
And Father Victor is sat up on the couch and is just watching this. He seems a bit withdrawn.
I'll sort it out. There's bread and cake, I guess, if anybody wants any.
Kitten's in the basket.
Never mind.
There's just crumbs flying all over. Soon enough, the entire household will be awake. You will, I'm guessing, have made tea and or coffee, and people are eating the bread, and the cakes that have been brought are freshly baked, still warm. Excellent. Very, very tasty, very sweet. Very sweet cakes.
So, where do we want to start?
I meant to ask last night, Father, what did the woman look like who was interrogating you?
Victor does his best to describe her from what he remembers.
So you'll mention the grayish skin, the purple eyes, the sort of strange pointy ears that curled back a little bit behind the head. Very gaunt, almost emaciated.
That remind me the
Merkelfar.
It sounds like a Merkelfar. It's a type of elf. Did she take any of your blood by any chance? Do you know?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
How?
When she drew the symbol on me, my blood was on her knife, and
There's
she licked it off.
Maybe.
There's no blood.
not anymore.
Merkelfar can track people once they taste their blood. You can throw them off by crossing running water.
So that's what the last word she said to me meant. She said she would always be able to find me.
Mm.
Unless you walk across a stream, that doesn't seem that useful.
It muddies the trail for a bit.
So it's not a permanent solution.
Do you want me to remind you what you learned about them last time?
Yes, please. It has been a while.
So she will tell you that the Merkelfar were once elves who, because of their cruelty and evil, were cursed with a taste for mortal blood and to be forever shunned by others. Once they have tasted a being's blood, they can follow them anywhere on land. The only way to escape them is by crossing or being on water. They are otherwise relentless and thus often used by more powerful beings to hunt and kill their enemies. What you also know now is that the Merkelfar can be killed through supernatural means, either with magic or with the natural weapons and attacks of a supernatural being. They also dislike the feel of iron. Once killed, a Merkelfar's remains must be thrown into water, the deeper the better, to prevent them from returning. If this is not done, the Merkelfar returns within a fortnight.
So Vendela shares all that. It's just like, I'd recommend iron, and it's fortunate you live near water.
We start with the water mill. We cross the river anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's start there.
Sounds good.
Why did they take you? If they wanted Vendela, why not wait around? Would have been an excellent trap. We would have walked right into it.
I wish I knew. I still question why I was chosen. Because I'm a priest, because I notice things. That was the explanation I was given, but I would have assumed if they wanted Vendela, there was no reason to leave. The setup, as you said, was there, Rudolph.
They must have known I was protecting her.
I'm sure that was it. There's nothing strange about you, Father?
No, I suppose there isn't.
We got insight checks in this game. How's this work?
Absolutely. So what you can do is you can give me a observation roll on empathy and observation. And if you are trying to hide something, Father, you can do empathy and manipulation.
Ooh.
I do remind you, y'all, you have a few advantages kicking around.
Might use one of those advantages. Do we have to decide to use that before we
I'm
roll?
a big fan of that,
Okay.
personally. Not to be,
Okay.
that DM, but
Can I
No, that's
just
fine.
help Rudolph? Can Britta just help Rudolph by staring daggers into Victor? Just
And okay. So I have a question. I checked the frightened condition. Am I still frightened?
no. So it's what I was saying.
Okay.
Because of the night's rest, you can take away
Cool. Sorry, I missed
any conditions that you had. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I don't have a penalty. I think I'll use an advantage. And if I have Britta's help, that would be great.
Are you okay? So if you really want to help, KT, I will say that you are going to give me an empathy also and manipulation, because you are trying to get him to feel fear. Every success you get will give Rudolph an extra dice.
oh boy.
Ooh.
All right. I have excellent empathy and manipulation. That's 7 dice in total.
Very nice.
It's one success.
Okay.
That's
That's
fine.
good.
That's
So it's an
good.
extra dice for the captain.
Okay, I did get one.
So you have one success, and Father Victor?
One success.
Oh.
One success. All right. I usually give ties to the person sort of attacking, so to speak. So I will say that you feel reasonably certain he's hiding something. You're not certain, like it's not a dead certain. Oh yeah, that guy's hiding. But you're like, you know.
Can I add
99%
something,
sure.
Bleak?
Yep.
Can I add something?
Please.
So,
Please.
Rudolph, I think what you would realize is that Victor is hiding something, but not what you would expect him to be hiding.
Interesting. Okay.
So then, what would you like to do?
I'll drop it for now, and just kind of say, perhaps there will be another time for confession.
And Victor looks over at Rudolph, and Rudolph, you recognize the look in Victor's eyes because you've seen it before. That desperate need to unburden himself. And all he says is, I hope so. I would like that, but not in front of everyone.
And holy
We're
moly,
losing
thank you.
daylight.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Oh, no,
Lord
yeah.
Gazumba. Thank you, Jay, for the awesome raid. Whoa, we've just been raided by like the entire universe. Thanks so much for coming in. We super appreciate you. We are playing Vaesen, a game of supernatural horror in 1800s Scandinavia. And the players have just spent a horrible night being tortured by evil beings and are now trying to decipher exactly what the hell is going on in this small town. Thank you for coming in. We super appreciate you. Hope you enjoy what's coming. So sorry for interrupting.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that
Hello,
was,
welcome everybody.
Yeah,
quite-
that's incredible.
Quite the raid. Thank you, Lord Gazumba. Do you need more time, or do you know where you're sort of heading?
No, I think Rudolph is gonna kind of shoulder his rifle and say, "Well, we're losing daylight." Then, if we're all ready to go, let's go.
All
Put a little kitten out of the basket. She's just gonna nap on my neck.
Very well-fed kitten.
Yes.
So chunky today.
So chunky, all that food you got to eat.
It's a full mink.
So you will head off to, I guess you wanted to go to the mill, is that it?
Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna start, because then Victor gets to cross the river.
Awesome. So just a heads up to all our viewers who just came in, we do have a giveaway tonight. We're giving away a digital copy of the Vaesen Core Rulebook, drawing in the chat. If you want to be entered, you have to be here at the end of the stream, but please go ahead and enter if you want. This excellent game, amazing game, and we'll be giving that as soon as the stream is over tonight. So !drawing, get in on it. Swag. So you'll be heading down. So you are somewhere a little bit, I would say, outside of town, very likely. And I will give you this. I will say that you live on the other side of the water, so you actually do get to cross the water, so it'll muddy the tracks a little bit. But Copperwood's mill is over here. So the church is over here. The Sheaf and Stock Inn is over here in the middle. And your house has been a bit further out this way, but here you find the mill. As you walk through the village, you find that the rain has had kind of a positive effect where it is cool and it is kind of gray and overcast and very humid, but there's birds chirping and people that are out seem to be in a little bit a better mood. You kind of feel a little bit of life has sort of returned to the town, which had been so kind of dry and fallow and sort of just very kind of unhappy before that rain. And so as you walk and a little bit of the mud sort of sticks to your feet, you find people out and sort of talking, whereas the first day that you were here, people were kind of sullen and not mixing up too much. But it seems to have revived the town a little bit here. And you will eventually arrive at the mill. And you will see a couple of people are bringing some stuff in. The mill is not working a lot these days because, there's just nothing to mill right now. We haven't sown or anything yet. But the wheel's turning very kind of languidly a little bit, and you can see that they're bringing in, some sacks of goods and whatnot, and there's a couple of people that have gone in and bought some flour, perhaps things of that nature. And you will see old Ernie Copper, the owner of the mill, hanging out on the balcony, smoking his morning pipe, with his little tablier. I always fucking think of it in French, but his little leather apron and just sort of covered in grains of all sorts, and he's just sort of smoking and sort of looking around, taking in the town, and you all arrive and find out. He's like, "Good morning."
Morning.
How you doing, Father?
I am well. How are you?
Oh, great. You gotta love that rain, that spring rain. It's a sign of good things to come. We're starting to get a little worried there, but this looks like it'll help out a lot. Would you like to come in? My wife's made some bread this morning. I'm sure we could spare a few slices for you, Father, and your friends. Rudolph, how you doing? Did you leave a carcass in the middle of the village last night, Rudolph?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of kids found it, and I think they drug it all the way to the inn. But maybe don't leave the carcasses hanging around the village. It's just a little unseemly. Right. All right. As jovial as always. And I don't believe I met your friends. I'm Ernie Copperwood, and he extends a hand to Britta and Vendilla.
Nice to meet you. Mr. Copperhead, my name's Britta.
Is that a ferret on your shoulder?
But this? No. Maybe.
It's a cat.
It's a cat.
Strangest darn cat I ever seen.
A domesticated cat.
Right.
Clearly.
That thing looks like it could eat my face off.
No, he's sweet.
Uh-huh. And you, ma'am, are catless, but nonetheless, I'll welcome you. My name is Ernie.
Nice to meet you. I'm Vendela Ekstrom. I'm visiting town for a few days with my friend Britta.
Well, I hope you find the stay pleasant enough. It was a little bit of a brouhaha last night with that storm, but things seem to have calmed down, and we'll probably have a couple of quiet days here. You lot look like you're on a mission. Is there anything I can help you with? Are you needing some of that beer flour, Father? For Britta? Britta, yeah. No, not Britta. Sorry, Barrett.
That would be good. That's not quite the reason we're here. And Father Victor looks slightly panicked as he glances over at Rudolph and says, What is the reason we are here?
You know an Ivar.
Ivar. Well, I knew Ivar Ingersoll. So you, Father, and both Rudolph and you would know the Ingersoll in the village is, what's her name? Ingersoll.
Carla.
Carla Ingersoll, who runs the sawmill, who's making the pews for the church right now. I know Ivar Ingersoll, but he's been gone going on 5-6 years now.
He died?
Yeah.
Was 5 or 6 years ago when the last sacrifice was?
No, that came after that.
Okay.
Yeah, he passed away. I think it was in winter 1835. I want to say. Oh, why did he owe you money or something? That would have been like old Ivar to owe someone money, to die owing them money.
Maybe I'll have a word with Carla about it.
Right, well, you won't find her here.
Rudolph will walk away because I'm not going to find Carla here.
Nice to meet you.
You were coming here about the old watermill, right? That you were.
Yeah, but
just saying,
I don't know how to ask about it without just showing him the note and being like, "Hey, what's this?" Which I mean,
it's up to you.
If somebody else wants to step in, but Rudolph's not a very social person.
Vendela was brought here to inquire, so remind me what it's in the info, right?
Yeah, it says take them to the old watermill, then make sure Ivar's daughter shuts her mouth on pain of suffering the same fate. And it was with the dead body in the sawmill.
Right.
You know, dead bodies in sawmills never a good thing.
Yeah, and there are dead bodies in sawmills.
And that's the sawmill where the daughter works?
No, that would be the an old one that
the old one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right. It's like, could you tell us if Ivar before he passed, did he mention any having fallen in a bad way or people who were causing him problems to him or his daughter by any chance?
I can't remember anything specific. I mean, Ivar was a bit of a, always out of money, always borrowing a little bit here and there, but, nothing too bad. You like to, he was in his cups once in a while, but again, just sort of what you'd expect from, a miserable little coot who spent his entire life cutting down trees and, using that to remake new things with them. Like, I was fine enough, I guess. He certainly taught his daughter really well. She's an excellent craftsman. Should see the cabinets she made for me. State of the art. I mean, those things, they open and close on their own, fit just right. Excellent craftsmanship.
She sounds really talented. And does she come by here often? Did they lived here at the mill? Is that right?
No, not at all. They lived at the Ingersoll sawmill where Carla still runs the business.
Oh, I see.
Ivar ever do any work for Lock Spindler?
Oh, no, he wasn't around. They came here after he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about Carla?
Oh, it's possible, I guess. She was banging around with that feller who worked for them there for a while, but I don't know what happened to him. It was a little while back,
fella?
maybe 2 summers ago.
You get his name?
Yeah, Sten something or other.
I know that name.
Mm-hmm. Y'all know that name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did have an old sawmill. Ivar did, but like the mill, when the water levels dropped and the Vaesen kind of changed around there, a couple of places had to move, and so that was one of the ones that he had to abandon because he wasn't near enough water anymore to get his logs in, and same reason why we moved the mill.
And so Sten, he just left her out of the blue?
Yeah, just one day to the next. he was gone. But you know how those workers are, right? They come in from God knows where, and they show up and they get paid, and they, you know, get around with some local women, especially the ones that are cute and available, like Carla. And next thing you know, their contract's over. They head back home, the wife and family, or whatever they got going. Yeah, story as old as time.
You ever talk crazy?
No, not really. Pretty much kept to himself. I mean, people here kind of gave him the cold shoulder on account of he was working for Lockspindler and whatnot. But other than that, seemed like a decent enough fellow. He didn't hang around too much, if you know what I mean. Would just come in once in a while to see Carla and, you know, get some sawing action going.
So they started seeing each other 2 years ago, and then he left within that time frame last year.
Yeah,
6
it was just a couple months. I mean, I guess no, I guess he left maybe. That's the last time I saw him was not last winter, the winter before maybe, or in the spring, and I guess they hooked up the summer before. So it was about most of a year that they were seeing each other. I mean, you knew he wasn't going to last, and she was too good for him anyways. But you know,
Was it
Sure.
messy when he left?
no, Carla's a pretty private person, and that guy didn't really have any friends, so it was just more like one day he was there and the other day he wasn't. Yeah. You know.
Carla seems nice.
Carla's very nice. Carla's a very nice lady. I mean, you know, be good if she could find herself a good man. Rudolph, you're not, you're single if I am not mistaken? I mean, I don't want to play matchmaker or anything, you know, it's not my thing, but
Red is bright red.
I'm just saying, you know.
You got those cabinets in there? He
Yeah.
nods to the mill.
Yep.
You mind if we take a look?
No, please come in. Come in. Happy to show them to you.
We would love to see that exquisite work.
After you. So you'll walk inside the mill. One thing you realize it is fairly new. It can't be really 10 years old. The paint's still, you know, kind of pretty much all there, and the floor is still very nice and whatnot. And you walk in, and there's only a few people working. Like, again, it's kind of the, you know, the slow season. They're just starting off. You know, the winter's ending and spring is just starting in. But you'll bring you inside the back where his house is, and in the kitchen there's these brand spanking new beautiful cabinets, beautiful workmanship, nice, you know, detailing in the wood, everything by hand, nice, beautiful polish. He's like, yeah, look at this, and he pulls one of the doors and he stops and it doesn't move, and he pulls it further and he stops and it doesn't move, and he pulls it, you know, and the flush. I mean, you know, helps that the mill was built pretty straight, but very impressive. You're probably fixing up your church there, Father. You should probably get Carla on the job.
Well, she is already helping out with the pews, and I certainly would not want to give her too much extra work.
Well, that's nice. I mean, you know, they probably won't see the backside of my ass, but I'm happy for you, you know, and whoever wants to go, I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. You know, live and let live. That's got my motto over here. I'm like the wheel of the mill, just forever spinning, just doing my thing, you know.
You said you had to move the mill.
Yeah, we were up higher before, and so when the water levels went down, the wheel was just spinning in the middle of nowhere, like, you know, so lasted out a year like that, but then we realized that the water wouldn't be coming back up if those jerks up at Loch Spindler have kind of messed with everything around here, and so, you know, town made a decision, and we tore down the old mill, and we brought it down here, and we built it back up.
You tore it down.
Yeah. Well, we reused some of the materials. The stone was still good.
Where was it?
Right under where the father is right now, actually. They even use the same foundation.
I've learned something new today about this town.
You okay, Rudolph?
Yeah, didn't know Didn't know the church was built on something. That was
Yeah,
already
well,
there.
there's almost nowhere else. And when they were looking for a site, when they started talking about bringing a priest, someone said, well, foundation's already there. We can just start building. I mean, I don't think they've they finished the job or anything, but solid foundations.
Hell of a place to build a church on top of, and he'll sort of look meaningfully at the rest of them and say, the old watermill.
I mean, yeah,
Indeed.
Vendela caught on to that and was just like, well,
The church
foundation was
always
there, might as well not waste it.
church always banging on about water and the water of life and throwing water in people's faces and what have you. Is like, I heard in some places they even dunk people in the water and then you could come out of there and you're reborn in the light of the Lord or whatever the hell it is. I mean, it's all nonsense, but, no offense,
It's all
Father,
nonsense.
obviously, but,
No offense taken.
I think it's
No.
kind of very symbolic, the watermill, the church, and, anyway, it's just me, but I'm an old romantic.
It's
Well, these
very
cabinets are
Piece of
great.
history.
That's what they call me, old history Ernie.
Well, these cabinets are great.
Fantastic.
Probably
Right?
go.
Some nights I just sit here. I'll sit by the table there, candlelight, a little bit of wine, and I'll just stare at them.
Truly excellent craftsmanship by Carla.
Yeah.
She certainly can handle wood.
We'll have to give her our compliments later, Britta.
All right. Well, I think we're done here.
Maybe now.
Maybe
Let's
we
go.
should.
Thank
yeah,
you so
maybe we
much
should
for your
go.
time.
We should find her.
No problem.
Maybe she's at the pews. She's doing the pews at
Maybe.
the church.
Anytime you want to come
Yes.
back and stare in my cabinets, you come past 9 o'clock and I got the wine out.
Yeah. All right.
Appreciated.
No, keep
Nice meeting you, Miss Vendela and Britta and
Good to meet you
Tiger.
too.
Kitten's gonna hiss on her way out.
Okay, well, so that's the new watermill. The note refers to the old watermill, which
Yes.
means that your church
Church.
might be built on a murder spot.
Does the
Murder
church have a basement?
Hmm.
You're not aware that it has a basement, though.
Yeah, I don't believe so, but to be frank, I wasn't really considering it the site of a murder, so I can't say that I've examined the foundation that intensely.
Perhaps we ought to go tear up some floorboards.
Why not?
Oh,
lot
they're
of
just
water
gonna
got down there
snap.
anyway.
Yeah.
They're just gonna lose it. Swear.
British shaking with rage.
We should talk to Carla also.
Yeah, we should talk to
Let's
Carla.
do that
Yes.
first.
Let's
The
speak
church
with
isn't-
Carla.
I'm not gonna finish that sentence. Let's talk to Carla.
Please don't finish that sentence.
won't.
So you will head out to across the village, across the town, towards where the Ingersoll. You know what I almost just did? That would have been funny in some ways, but not funny in others. I almost hit stop streaming instead of studio mode.
Oh no!
Yeah, that'd be fun. Fun little surprise.
Oh my god, so funny.
Cliffhanger.
Funny
I figure
joke.
it's bound to happen at some point. Who puts those two buttons near each other like that? When you arrive over at the sawmill, you it's in full swing. There's tons of logs that have come in from wherever they get them. There's people working inside. There's banging and sawing and all that good stuff sort of going on. Thank you, Chaotic Streaming. Thanks for dropping in. We super appreciate you. You will see as you approach, Carla will come out to meet you, brushing sawdust off of her clothes. Sorry, Father. I knew I said we'd come in and help out with the roof and all, and we just totally, no one knew that rain was coming in. If I'd known, I would have gone by earlier and tried to get something done. But good news that the pews are finished, so we're going to be delivering those this afternoon if you're ready for them. Although I don't know if you got water damage or whatnot in the church, but
And let's just
no
quietly, like, there was some leaks last night. I wanted to check those out first.
It's fine. We will talk
rip
about
the floorboards, check on the water damage.
Exactly. Thank you for all of your hard work, Carla.
Oh, anything I can do, and I know that not everyone in the village feels the same, but I absolutely look forward to sitting in one of the pews that I've made in that church and listening to you bring the word of salvation to us. I think it's very important. I think it's going to be extremely helpful for the town, and will help us get rid of any of these weird notions that people still hold of ancient ways that, really.
And as always, I appreciate that, Carla. At the same time, I do not want to force changes on anyone. I want this to be a space where those who are looking for a place to connect with God, a place to unburden themselves, can come, but I do not want to force anyone there who does not wish to be there.
And I think that's very laudable, Father, and I think people will sense that, and people will respond to that. And it may take a little time, but we'll help you. There's enough of us here that we can get ourselves a nice little congregation going, and I'm sure that in time, most of the others will see that it's truly the best way. But anyways, is there anything else I can do for you? I don't think we've met. I'm Carla, and she'll offer to shake your various hands. Oh, isn't he cute? And she'll give scritches to...
Oh, Kitten's all about Carla. Kitten's
oh,
fully
you're so
furry.
cute. You look like...
And Britta's just like... It's very cute. I really admire your cabinets.
Were you at Copperwood's mill?
Yeah.
That, I was pretty proud of myself. I know pride's a sin, Father, but it was just
they're beautiful.
A craftsman's pride. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. My father taught me well, and every day I just hope that I can live up to the level of skill that he had.
Man really loves those cabinets.
So I'm not the only one who thought he was a little bit too much into them. Like I appreciated my work, and I was very proud of it, but it felt that's what I
too much.
I mean, they are pretty. They are really nice, very well made. I just
too much.
Yeah, a little uncomfortable at times is how I felt.
Right.
What happened to your father?
Oh, same thing that awaits us all, I guess. He just got to that point in life.
He just died of old age?
Worked hard all his life, drank maybe a little too much. And then one morning, winter a couple years ago, he was outside splitting wood. He was 73 years old, and he was still out there, bare-chested, in February, chopping wood out back, and suddenly he stopped and he seemed to take a breath, and I remember I'd never seen him look winded or exhausted before, and he put the axe down and he picked up the last log that he'd split and he put it in the stack, and he grabbed his shirt and his coat and he came inside and he told my mother he was going to go lie down a little bit. He was feeling a little tired, and he never woke up again.
You get any threats after that?
Threats? No, why? Oh, some people would say my dad owed them money here and there, but in most cases I've managed to smooth things over by doing a little free work here and there when I took over the mill, and I think most people are okay with it at this point. I don't see why there would have been threats or anything of that nature, no.
I think Rudolph will pull the note out at that point and not show it to her, but just kind of have it in his hand in case she might recognize it. then say, no one ever told you you might meet the same fate as your father?
And as you say that, you can see that this has an impact on her, and her face kind of falls, and this dark cloud sort of comes over her, and she goes, I did everything I was supposed to do, and it's still coming to haunt me.
What were you supposed to do, Carla?
Nothing. Do nothing, say nothing, and that's exactly what I did.
Who threatened you?
I don't know them. 3 men came one night. Very tall, powerfully built, little bowler hats. They had very nice clothes on. I'd never seen them around. They just...
Purple clothes?
No, they were yellow. In any case, they just knocked on my door, and when I went to open, they barged in. They had truncheons. They didn't hit me or anything, but they told me. They told me that I needed to scroll down. They told me that Sten, the man I'd been seeing, they said that he'd run out on his contract. They said I shouldn't be asking for him. He'd ask for a transfer to go back to his family, and that was a shock and news to me. Sten had never said anything about a family, but then I assumed, why would he have? He was, after all, trying to... And, I mean, that would have been enough. Like, I would have understood that, and I would not have said anything. But then, before they left, one of them said, you know, don't talk about Sten, don't say anything, because, you know, and he kind of let it hang. But I kind of got the feeling that maybe Sten hadn't gone, maybe something had happened to him. But we never saw Sten again, we never found anything, so...
So these were people from Lockspindler? They were mentioning his contract.
I guess they weren't wearing any uniforms or anything, but they seemed the type of bowler hats. Just ugly, gangly. Really not pleasant people.
In yellow. Hmm.
Where did you find this?
The old sawmill.
And did you find anything else there? Is that all you found?
What else would we have found?
Sten?
Probably. I'm sorry.
It's okay. He was so secretive about a lot of things, and, you know, I was just this tall, dark, mysterious man, and I let myself be swept away, but, I mean, I wasn't stupid. I knew that he'd probably be gone at some point, but...
He never... Was he one for stories? Did he mention, like, a dragon in connection to something he might have been working on?
No, but he did seem to know a lot about things. He would always have a story about some sort of ancient folk tale about things. Like, one of the things he told me was that I should always leave out a saucer of milk when I went to bed at night to keep the niece happy, so that they would take care of the meal in the house for me. I'm not 100% sure that I bought into a lot of it, but he seemed to believe it himself. And I caught him a few times doing it. He would go out and get up early in the morning, just after the milk had been delivered, and he would pour out a saucer full and leave it outside. But dragons specifically, no. But he was hiding things. I know he was. He seemed like someone obsessed a little bit, perhaps, or like he had something on his mind. Like I could always tell. Like he'd be in the moment, but oftentimes he would just kind of be off in his head somewhere. And I mean, he didn't ask me too much about things, and I didn't either. It was just, a little bit of fun, Not a lot
What
of
did he do?
available men out here.
What did he do for luck, Spindler?
It wasn't very clear on that either. I do believe he worked in the dockyard. They have their own little dockyard there where their boats come in, and so I think he was maybe just a laborer or something like that. He was fairly strong, and he definitely looked like he worked with his hands. He never really said, and to be honest, everyone here hates them so much that I didn't particularly care. I mean, people in the village gave him a hard time once in a while, but he kind of acted like he knew something they didn't, and it didn't touch him, like one day the people would understand or something like that. Strange man, but he was also good, I knew that whatever he was doing it because he felt he needed to do it to help.
Carla, the note and what you said makes it clear that someone doesn't want you to talk.
But
I'm worried about you now
don't
that
know
you've
anything.
told us this.
This is all I know. That I don't know what he was doing, what he was after, or in all honesty, I don't even really know that he's dead. I mean, you tell me you found a body, but it couldn't have been identifiable in any way, shape, or form, and I think I can just go on believing that he did go back home to a family and just be grateful for the time that we did share together.
And if that's what you need to do, then do it.
Rudolph pulls the body down off of his shoulders. He's just been carrying it the whole time.
Yeah.
Rudolph, no.
Does this look like Steph?
You guys didn't notice? Had it the whole
Rudolph the pallbearer. Yeah.
time. No.
Sorry, go ahead, JD.
Sorry. Yeah.
Carla, I just want you to be careful. I want you to be safe.
She picks up the hatchet that she's got at her belt. She goes, "It's good for more than just wood. Don't worry about me, Father. I appreciate your concern, but I'm a woman in tough business, and I'll be okay. And if there's anything, I know who to come see, and I will certainly come and seek sanctuary with you if I need it."
That's all I can ask for, and I truly trust you to be able to take care of yourself. Let's just say I think some of those individuals or other associated individuals may be in town, and I would not want any harm to come to you, though it seems like you would do a fine job navigating that were they to knock on your door again.
I think he'll be all right. Would you do me a favor, Father, before you go? Would you say a quick prayer with me?
Of course.
And she'll come over and she'll sort of motion for all of you to join into like a little circle.
Rudolph's gonna walk away.
Rudolph's gonna go find a body to carry.
Yeah. He feels naked with that one.
Gotta get my reps in. I just feel so
What about Vendela
Naked.
and Britta?
I think Britta will sort of like walk over and offer a hand.
Vendela will do so more out of politeness.
She'll bow her head.
Carla, was there a particular prayer that you had in mind?
Give me one of your own, Father, just something from the heart.
And Father Victor automatically starts with Our Father who art in heaven, and then pauses and says, Our Father who art in heaven, please bless these grounds. Please bless this home. Please bring life into this earth to provide for the people on it. And please protect the inhabitants of this town. Especially those who hold love and acceptance in their hearts. Protect them from influences who may wish them harm and who may wish the land that they reside on harm. And offer all of us guidance during this time of turmoil. And then he kind of comes back to himself and realizes he needs to finish this prayer, and more quickly just says, Amen.
And I will insert a little bit of editorial here. That is what Father Victor assumes happened. However, what the rest of you saw was just before he says, Amen, you see he starts to shake. And this strange voice comes from him. And you have automatic writing, right, Father?
Mm-hmm.
So as he is saying this prayer and he starts to shake and this strange voice comes from him, it's like his, but slightly different. And it says, the scythe is in the fallow field. The scythe is in the fallow field. And then he stops shaking and seems to hesitate and seems to kind of come back to himself and says, Amen. You open your eyes all happy. This prayer is getting, everyone's like,
What a lovely way to blend the town's belief with your beliefs. That was so thoughtful. Thank you for your time, Carla. It was lovely to meet you.
yeah. I'll have the pews delivered this afternoon, Father, if that's okay. Thank you so much. She shakes your hand. It was a pleasure meeting all of you, and thanks. And looking a little disturbed, she'll turn around and go back into the mill.
Rudolph will come back over in the wake of that, and we'll just nod to you, Victor, and say, "Priest's on it."
Father, maybe you should lay down or something. This doesn't seem like you're doing so well.
What happened?
You said in a really strange voice, the scythe is in the fallow field.
You said it twice, actually. In a
And
very
you're
strange
shaking.
voice.
It was more than twice.
In a second.
And you don't remember.
No, I don't remember that at all. I know I went a bit off script, but nothing like that.
Maybe it's time for that confession.
Well, if
Maybe
you want to
it
handle
is.
that in the church, you can we can go to the church, and Britta and I can start searching while you deal with that, if you would like.
And Victor looks very much disturbed. More disturbed than Rudolph has even seen him in the past.
Well, to the church.
So you return to the church. As you're going towards the church, one of the other people of the village will come to you and say, Father, one of the local women that you know is, on your side, so to speak. Father, if I may, when do you intend to start preaching?
Well, unfortunately, there was some water damage last night with the storm, and I am concerned that has delayed us even more so than we had been. My hope, though, is enough pieces will be in place and everything will be safe that we can hopefully start to have masses in the coming weeks.
I hope so, Father, because things are out of hand. Crime is rampant.
What is happening?
People doing the strangest, most horrific things in the night. Just last night, Father, you need to start preaching against this. People need to understand that this is not a Christian way to be. Last night, she puts her hand in her pocket and she pulls out, she goes, my cherry pie, freshly baked, on the windowsill. I left. 15 minutes, and I come back, and this, and she opens her hand, and there's a handful of barley kernels. This is what was left in its place. This is not payment. Even if I plant this and it grows, I'll get, what, 3 stalks? Father, there is a rot, a moral rot, in the center of this village. And it's your job to stomp it out. So hopefully, you'll get to stomping pretty soon, because if I have to start to do the stomping, believe you me, some people are not going to be very happy.
Understood.
She looks at the 2 women and goes, city folk, are ya? And then she'll turn around and walk away.
Rude.
There is some additional rot that could use stomping.
As you approach the church, you will find Britta outside, sitting on the steps, smoking a cigarette.
Oh, Barrett?
Barrett, sorry, not Britta.
It's like,
Barrett.
wait a second.
You see, I should change that name because I'm always going to do that.
Sure.
Britta went on ahead to have a smoking break.
Yeah.
Her and
You
Kenny just
changed.
Just sitting there like, Carla really changed me.
I'm harder now.
She takes a drag. She goes, Father, thank God. I was really dreading that you were down there and I was going to have to go find your shattered body at the bottom of that place. Am I glad to see you? Puts out the cigarette. I was trying to get the nerve to go and get some help. I was really afraid that I was going to find you all smashed to bits.
What happened, Barrett?
The floor caved in last night during the storm with the rain. Did you know there was... Well, I guess it makes sense now you think about it. They did build this over the old watermill, but I would have thought they would have filled that place out. I didn't know there was still that basement down there.
This is the second time I have heard that mentioned today. A fascinating site to place the church.
Well, it felt very symbolic with the water and all.
That is what people keep saying.
We put a lot of thought into it. There was a whole thing in the village for the whole to-do. It lasted like 3 months, kept people occupied at the village meetings. Wouldn't believe it. Anyways, the kitchen's still intact, so if you want, I can make y'all some lunch. Just be mindful on your way in. The floor is just completely ripped out, but there's a safe path you can follow to the kitchen if you want.
Of course. And Barrett, you do not need to trouble yourself with that this morning. I can hear this has been a stressful morning, worried about what could have happened to me over the night.
Oh.
But I assure you I'm perfectly safe and fine.
I appreciate that, Father, and I'm very happy to see you. But this is what I do. It's my job. This is how I help. So if you'll let me, I'll go in. I have some soup cooking.
Perhaps she could let Carla know not to deliver the pews this afternoon.
Yes, Barrett, if you are willing, Carla was hoping to bring the pews over. If you could let her know we're going to need.
We have no room for them now. I'll go over as soon as I can after lunch.
Of course.
So she goes back inside.
Well, I suppose we do not need to pull up any floorboards.
The basement.
Everybody wants you to start preaching.
Apparently they do.
Sorry.
Tell them all the good word of the scythe and the fallow field.
Right. What was that about?
Well,
Father.
that seems like where that thing might be. The description we got, it carries a scythe. But does the phrase fallow field mean anything to either of you?
Aside from the fact that all the fields around town are fallow right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Any field. Can I make a learning check to see if I know anything about this barley corn trading? If that
Yeah, please go
rings
ahead.
a bell from a folklore
Absolutely.
or something.
Please do.
And is that a learning check or
Yeah.
an ops? Okay.
Yeah.
I'd try to help since I know some local folklore.
Ooh,
All right,
sweet.
so we'll get an extra dice.
Nice. That's 8 dice. Ooh, okay. I got 4 successes
Wow.
on barley corn.
All right. So
Odd.
you know of Feldgeister, who are field spirits, also called corn daimon or corn demons. They are field spirits that come originally from Germanic folklore, but have kind of found a home here in Scandinavia. There are numerous Feldgeisters that are known in folklore, some shaped as animals, some in human form. It is said that direct contact to them causes illness. They are kin to trolls, often appearing trollish or goblinoid, usually dressed in farmers' garbs, carrying some farming tool, usually a scythe or sickle. They accept offerings, anything sweet or milk with alcohol in it. In exchange, they will leave behind seeds or kernels. Now that you think about it, because you rolled 4 successes, if this creature is a Feldgeister, it would make a home for itself in a fallow field, creating a small mound of earth and hiding beneath it until the crops have grown, at which point it would emerge and scythe the crops down for people to pick up. The only thing you don't know is how to banish one.
I share all that information and say, it's new to me. Perhaps I don't have access to the library I would research, but oh, Britta, there was that writer that traveled with us, August something.
Yeah, August. Oh God, I really don't remember. his name.
Sharp, yes. Maybe it's worth
August.
checking in with him if he picked up some folklore that might.
Oh, do we have to?
I mean, you don't have to. I can go.
No, I'll go with you.
I don't want to go anywhere alone.
Yeah, I'll go with you. Beefs up.
All right, so
Staying at the inn.
Yeah.
the two of you will head off to the inn, and Father and Hunter will go and check the church.
Yep.
All right, so we'll start with that. As you enter the church, you find that where the rain has come in, the floorboards must have already been pretty damaged from being out, and the weight of the pulpit that had been placed on it was just too much, and it cratered the floor. And when you look down at the bottom of it, you can see where the pulpit and whatnot has cratered in bits and pieces of the floor. But when you look down, you also see this.
Oh,
Good.
That's charming.
That's fine.
There appears to be some sort of now dried out, very viscous, yellowish goop. You recall seeing barrels similar to this, Will, in the old sawmill. They've been broken, and there apparently is some of the water has broken through the foundations. And you see here, traced in red, there's some sort of runes that have been traced on the floor beneath where these things were broken. And when you take a closer look, you see that the barrels are stamped with the same symbol that you saw on the watch. Meanwhile, as not the lot of you, but Vendela and Britta are heading off towards the inn to talk to August Sharp. As you approach, sorry, it's not very nice for me to change the map in front of everyone, but just going for time here. As you approach the inn, there's a man coming out of it. He's slightly older, well-dressed. That's kind of you would say he's probably a military man. He's got a very kind of straight, carries himself like a military man. He's got a sword. He's got the nice little, very sharp haircut, and he's coming out, and he's got a newspaper that he's folded under his arm, and he's buttoning his coat. And as you cross him on the way in, he'll nod to you, Vendela, and say, "Good day, ma'am."
Good day.
And as he crosses Britta, he stops and stares at you and says, "Britta? Britta, is that you? Britta, my God, you haven't changed. You look exactly... It's me, Matthias Sundin." Britta
Sorry,
von Sydow. Come on, you must remember me.
You must be mistaken. That is my name, but
I admit it's strange seeing you here, and you don't look to have aged a single bit. But look, we knew each other in... You don't remember. We knew each other in Danzig. You worked in the cafe when I met you.
in Danzig?
Yes, in Germany.
Me?
Hold. And he reaches into his thing, and he pulls out something from his neck, and you see a little locket, and he opens it, and he shows you. And when you look inside, you see a drawing of you. And with that, we will end tonight's
oh my God.
session.
Aw. Well, it's not Carla, but I guess.
There's still hope.
There's still hope.
Matthias.
There's still hope. He looks quite old. He looks to be probably in his late 50s.
Mm-hmm. No, this is just some weird time travel stuff.
Is it?
Oh,
though?
he hold that flame.
Is it though? We will find out next week what this is all about. Thank you very much for this wonderful game. You were all so absolutely amazing. Thank you to
Thank you.
our friends in the chat. I will go around the table and ask my players to introduce themselves, and then we will draw the digital copy of the Vaesen core book given to us very generously by Free League in sponsorship. So let's go ahead and get Stephanie to tell us a little bit more about herself.
I am Stephanie. I was Vendela tonight. She's got more mysteries than she anticipated in her past. You can find me at S Brown Writes on Twitter or under the handle Lavenza on Discord in both the Guild Superior and the Live from the Apocalypse chats. I'm not. You can catch me also on Live from the Apocalypse in Monster Hearts, a Season of Secret Shadows, a Regency-flavored Monster Hearts game every other Friday. Between two tables, we have Table 2 this Friday that JD is running. And then you can also catch me and JD in a future game, a psychological horror game called Redacted, starting soon, also on Live from the Apocalypse. So definitely swing on by and check that out.
I'm sure everything's going to be fine there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's always fine. Thank you so much, Stephanie. It's great to see the further adventures of Vendela and all the little connected parts that come in. It's a lot of fun for me to be able to draw on that and to bring that in there. So thank you for joining us here again. Next, the father who puts the fear of God into God. I don't know. Father Victor JD, sorry.
Yes. Hi, I am JD. I have been Father Victor. He is going through it, having a bit of a crisis of faith. This has all been a lot to happen in like 24 hours. It's fine. He's fine. It's all great. Speaking of things that are fine, Redacted is going to be fine. I can assure everyone of that, as will be the rest of A Season of Secrets and Shadows, which I will share here. Has been given a few extra episodes for both tables because we just couldn't have enough Monster Hearts. So that will be continuing, and you can also find me with Live from the Apocalypse this Friday, actually, for Thy Kingdom Come, where I will be a player before I run A Season of Secrets and Shadows, as well as in Class Reunion and Academy H. It's fine. I don't do too many things. Will is not counting, so it's fine.
Nice. Very busy, so super grateful you took the time to be here with us and bring Father Victor to us. Wonderful character, and having a lot of fun torturing him. So, thanks for for being here with us for this. Will,
Hi. Hello,
tell us, Will,
also,
what's what?
I will do that. Also, I just want to point out that I'm not sure it came across, but what JD is going to do on Friday is play in a game, and then 2 hours later run a game.
Yes.
So Friday is just JD Day on LFTA. Just
it's
absolute
fine.
Madness. My name is Will. You can find me on social media at AWillMScream, wherever you want. I'm one of the organizers and the storytellers of Live from the Apocalypse. I don't have anything going on, really. I'll be hanging out in the chat for Thy Kingdom Come and Season of Secrets and Shadows. Come back on Saturday, you can catch me at Girls Run These Worlds, where I'll be playing Jonah, who is a dead young man at a magic school. He's very sad and angry. Girls Run These Worlds Saturday morning around 1 p.m. And Sunday night, go check out the Madigans on Live from the Apocalypse, which is the Dresden Files game that I run about an estranged group of magical siblings who have been brought together by the untimely death of their wizard father. It's a good time, and you should check it out. Sunday night, the Madigans on Live from the Apocalypse. That's all I got going on.
I mean, yeah, it's still got a ton of stuff going on. You know, we're all so busy. We're all so busy. It's a wonder we can make time to play games. We're all so busy playing games. Thank you so much, Will. Super appreciate you being here. Also, and last but not least, the mukbang lady, KT.
The mukbang lady. I'm gonna have to change my Twitter handle again.
Please do. Join in the trend.
That's
Oh
right.
My God. You know what? Can I make money off of it?
Well,
Can I?
you know.
Maybe. Definitely not as much money as I can make off of doing art for tabletop RPGs. Truly living one penny at a time.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. My name is KT, and tonight I have been Britta, and I fully ship Britta and Carla 100%. We're there.
Marla?
Briarla. Oh, no.
We support this.
Carta?
Krita is the obvious
Krita's
one.
good.
So we should,
good.
So we should be shipping Britta and Carla.
Britta and Carla, yeah, 100%.
It's not too late.
That's
who
we're behind. No, it's
Britta can just move to this town and work in the sawmill.
It's gonna be fine.
And
she would love that, honestly.
Just make cabinets.
Just make cabinets all day.
Oh.
Yeah. No, truly, I feel like every episode we're just discovering more about her that I didn't even know. So very exciting stuff going on here. You can also find me over at Life from the Apocalypse. I'll be in that earlier game with JD on Friday at 1 p.m. That Kingdom Come. I'll be playing Penny Gribbly, and hopefully I can still do the voice after this terrible illness. But I'm super excited for that. And then aside from that, you can find me on Twitter at Pager2266, or I guess as the Mukbang Lady. And also looking
coming to a mukbang near you.
Yeah, exactly. This has been a true blast, honestly. I'll see you guys at the hospital at 7 a.m.
Thank you so much for taking time to come in. Of course, Katie also made the art, the beautiful character art for our characters. And so we want to thank her for that and give Katie a shout out if ever you are in need of art. I think her book has just opened up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be drawing in just a moment here the book, so if you want to get in on it, now's your last chance. Type !drawing. I would like to plug a few things for us. I'll be here tomorrow running the third part of the final story arc of Shadesong, my custom fantasy game using Dragonbane rules. That's a lot of fun. I'm getting great players also in that one. So we're going to do that tomorrow. We have next Tuesday the return of Greyhawk, of course, here at Guild Spear. It's the long-standing game that DM Dave runs. Some classic D&D action. Also, coming up in May, we have 2 weeks of fundraising for No Kid Hungry. We will be doing several games, all our regular games. On top of that, we will have a one-shot Blade Runner game that I will be running with Darling Creepshow, Eric Mona, Crombie, and DM Dave in it. And there's an interesting little weird twist in this Blade Runner game, so I would definitely check it out if I was you. It's going to be kind of weird and interesting, and we'll also be doing, DM Dave and I, twofer. We're going to do a two-part Lord of the Rings for 5e game that we're going to showcase on a Saturday. We're going to do 2 games back-to-back, one in the morning with 4 players playing 4 characters and DM Dave running the game, and then an hour later I will run a second game with 4 different players playing the same characters and continuing the adventure from the morning, and we will be showcasing the new 5e version of Lord of the Rings that Free League is putting out on May 9th. I believe it's coming out. So you can check that out with us. I've been reading the book. It is fantastic. They've done an amazing job with it. And on the topic of Free League, let us do the drawing. !drawing, last chance to get in. And I will draw that in 5, 4, 3, 2, as soon as I remember how to do it, 1. Stream Elements again, winning every day. Obsidian Risk Scott, I think he left, but he was here a little bit earlier. Are you around, Obsidian Risk? Unfortunately, he's not. I did say you had to be around, Obsidian Risk. Last call, Obsidian Risk Scott. All right, I'll roll again, since them's the rules. Vamp Wickman, Vamp, tell me you're here, Vamp. You in the chat, my main Vamp? My man Vamp, tell me you're in the chat. Everyone's gone. Everyone's gone to bed. No one gets the book. Vamp Wickman, come on, buddy. You know you're here.
Going once.
Yeah, Vamp Wickman. Chat in the house. Vamp, you've won. Next week, after the third game, I will get all 3 names and email addresses to Free League, and they will forward you your copy of the book. So congratulations, my main Chad. We are going to raid. In fact, we're going to raid Girls Run These Worlds because you just talked about them, Will. And now I'm going to try to Girls Run These Worlds. I think I have it right. When we get in there, please give them some good old Guild Spear love. Blast some raid emojis. We'll be back here next Wednesday for the finale of this game. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thank you very much, Vamp, for hanging out and watching this. Yeah, Vamp's an excellent minifig painter. I do believe he's got a Instagram page. You can check out Vamp Wickman for his minis painting. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It is late. We're going to get out of here, and we'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel with part 3 of Vaesen, Jera, the finale. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.